there will be some movie spoilers for this video. Be warned! Hello everyone, this is Dragon Videos, ready to do a top 5 for Romance Month. That's right, not 10, not an odd number of 7, but actually 5. And this one's going to be very appropriate for Valentine's Day, especially for today's modern society. So we've always had special songs you want to play, whether we're dancing or just simply want to have a good time. Mostly we'd always pick a song for when we're having our special wedding day, especially after a huge romance. So for this list, I'm going to go over specific song tracks from movies that have been known for quite some time. There are some that have been known to be put in weddings, but I want to put them on this list anyway. So what I'm going to do is focus on love songs from movies that I felt like were very special and focus the concepts of romance. Be warned though, there will be some spoilers for plots in certain movies. So if you've seen these movies, great. If you haven't, please watch them. And without further ado, let's pick out the songs that from movies that should be for weddings. So many of you who have had a chance to watch my Disney couple video, you'll probably remember what I said about these two. So with Giselle, she's always has a positive frame of mind. She would always try to look in the best situations. Sure, she gets upset and a little emotional, especially after that divorce scene, but she definitely tries to help people feel grounded and reminds in a spiritual sense of why they love each other. As for Robert, he's like a straight-laced nonsense guy who just wants to get things done properly. No chaos allowed, thank you very much. But over time, their chemistry starts to grow. Giselle starts to become more grounded. And in this scene that you see here in the King and Queen's waltz, these two start to develop a connection. So close represents that connection that Robert and Giselle have. They finally feel like they found the one person that will give them genuine love and have a healthy relationship in general. However, they had other obligations to other people as well, and they couldn't go back on their word for that. It definitely showed that even though they've developed in the shortest amount of time they had, they still had something together. And even though the song was sad, it definitely represents some truth about marriages. There's always going to be something bumpy along the way, and this is why So Close would be a number 5. Oh yes, many people should remember this sci-fi gem that talked about environmental issue. So for many of you who may not know, this focuses on the film of Jake Sully, a former mariner who now has to take place of his brother after he died from a robbery, being assigned to go onto a distant planet and see if anything can be done for a mining company. It results in him going to take on the body of an avatar, or basically a cloned Navi that's made specifically for a human host, which was pretty interesting and creepy at the same time, but this was only the time that Jake had ever been able to move. Things take an interesting turn when he meets Neytiri, who was at first not very happy to see him, As if you've seen the film, you'd understand why. He was still an outsider who gave them all hell because they refused to leave their home. It was practically part of their life. At first, Jake didn't really understand it, as well as Neytiri didn't understand him, just viewed him as someone who's gonna give them trouble no matter what she did. However, as their relationship developed over time, and when Jake finally made his way into their clan, Neytiri starts to become more accepting of him and realizes there was more to Jake. As well as for Jake, he understands of what Neytiri's home means to her, as well as the special connection she had to the world she lives in. And with this song, I See You, it gives off that sense of perspective. In this case, we have Jake and Neytiri both learning every new concept. With the song, I felt like it would have been appropriate for a wedding because it just shows of in a relationship, not only is it of compromise, but you're also trying to take things in the perspective of your partner. You're trying to understand of what they're thinking. You're also trying to understand what certain things mean to them. And this is exactly why marriage has to be seen in a healthy concept. But probably the biggest reason I can think of for this song is because of the famous Leona Lewis. Her song, the way she genuflects it, gives a lot of power to the lyrics, as well as that sense of love, but also just that devotion of like, no matter what happens to us, we will always find paradise so as long as we understand each other. But I put this in number 4 is because it may not always be involved in weddings, but I felt like it was something of a powerful and moving song that can be used for a very strong couple. Before I say anything, The Book of Life was not ripped off by Disney. It's a story of its own. Anyway, The Book of Life focuses on a very special thing. I put the song I Love You Too Much on here mostly because I just loved the rhythm of it. But before I continue going into further detail, let me do a little bit of background behind this. So it comes from the movie The Book of Life, which focuses on a very complicated love triangle, which I'm pretty sure all of you love at that point. It mostly focuses on Manolo's chance of trying to impress Maria. He was always toe-to-toe with his best friend, Joaquin, for Maria's attention. The problem was, he wasn't much of a bullfighter. He loved music more than anything. So he decided to do what made Maria love him so. He expresses how much Maria means to him. Even life itself could not be perfect without the spitfire of a woman he cherished so much since childhood. Heck, he even went into the afterlife to get her back because he felt responsible for her supposed death. So, I Love You Too Much is put on number 3 on this list because it just highlights our devotion to our partner, that we will fight to the very end, as well as they mean the world to us. And upon marrying that person, it just strengthens that bond. It highlights it so that the world may know it forever and all time. I'm pretty sure many of you are excited I would put this Celine Dion song on the list, and I have to agree, it's a perfect wedding song. Unfortunately, this movie actually focuses on the 1912 tragedy of the great ship Titanic that broke apart after hitting an iceberg. Mostly it focuses on the love story between Rose and Jack. Jack being a humble artist that was poor as dirt, while Rose was a woman with struggling finances and is being forced to marry a horrible man of a person who just wants to use her for her money. So these two began to form a bond while they are still throughout the ill-fated ship. And in doing so, they created a bond that lasted for all eternity. Even up to old age, Rose still remembers her time with Jack and always held on to that memory. Even when he died, Rose held on to that promise Jack made for them to never let go, no matter how bad and horrible that loss was. And in a lot of ways, this is what my heart will go on means. For Rose, it was just trying to continue to go on without Jack, but still love him at the same time. For many of you who are being wed or have been wed, you may find this song so relatable. Moving forward can be so difficult, but this song just makes it endearing that love is forever, and you can still have that love even if you're with someone else. So as long as you keep that memory of that loved one throughout your life, even after you've married that person, you cannot help but remember the time that the two of you had first met, and this strong waltz that you would have throughout this song will forever be cherished. Okay, truth be told, I'm not a very big Twilight fan, and it's usually because, I don't know, I watched one, I think I've watched maybe a little bit of it, but the series just didn't connect with me. Maybe it's because of a relationship that Edward and Belle have with each other. It's not that great, so yeah, they're probably the living pinnacle of a toxic relationship. Putting that aside, personally, I do like the one song they had provided from the film. 1,000 Years deserves the #1 spot because that's what we're supposed to have the idea when we're doing a marriage. This means that we are making our vows to someone that we'll love forever, even if it means that they're gone before we are. So, with this song, it definitely represents that whatever happens, whatever lifetimes we have, we'll always go back to the person that we love. And even in the songs, I have died every day waiting for you, just basically means that this song talks about no matter how many times you live through your life, you'll always love that person. As for the song itself, it's still being used now, as I've previously seen in the list, and I hope so it continues. I do recommend this song throughout your wedding process, mostly because it just shows of how love is strong even during the most difficult of circumstances, and how much of eternity it truly is. And I really hope that it will be part of your weddings, and by far 1,000 years just seems so iconic to what a healthy marriage should be about. Having an eternal lifetime to share with someone you care about, no matter how bad the situation is. So congratulations, Christina Perri. This song will forever be remembered as one of the best songs to dance at the wedding. So folks, this is Dragon Videos, ready to sign off. Remember to do a subscribe, a like, and feel free to discuss more about it later. This is Dragon Videos signing off.